why is style important to us as a thing? You know, we've been stylish since the dawn of human history, and this is what we see with NFT avatars and profile pictures especially, I think is the dawn of a new era in style. So before I get into why, I'd love a show of hands. Who here uses a profile picture NFT, or NFT as a profile picture? Okay, cool, about half. How many people here have changed their profile picture in the last month or so? Okay, cool, about maybe a quarter or a fifth or so. Interesting. So I want to first reference this tweet from Sam Altman, the former president of Y Combinator and the CEO of OpenAI. He says, if status is the last thing after artificial general intelligence, NFTs are entirely unsurprising. And you know, in a world where we have a tremendous amount of automation, I think more and more this sort of way of signaling will become important. And when you think about what really matters to us, you know, we have these Maslow hierarchy of needs, and at the very peak is self-actualization, you know, topics around identity and belonging. And I want to bring reference to the story of Richard. Who's heard this story before? This is a wild story. Okay, only a few of you. So this influencer had the opportunity to get about $9.5 million for a NFT that probably was worth about $750,000. He turned it down. That seems insane, and yet in his story he talks about how for him, like, this CryptoPunk has become over the years like truly a representation of himself. And so losing it just isn't worth the even this tremendous amount of money, life-changing amount of money. And I think that's something really to keep in mind as we're thinking about style and avatar NFTs, is like this is kind of that peak of Maslow's hierarchy. This is kind of, once we've figured everything else out, like we're kind of in the final frontier of our needs. So the rest of this talk will be about just different types of style. These categories that I'll be showing you are not mutually exclusive, they're sort of composable, and let's get into it. So the first type of style was event style. So Suits On for Christie's was a hashtag that was trending about a month ago. Really cool story. So the Bored Ape Yacht Club had a Christie's auction as well as some other projects, and a member of the Bored Ape Yacht Club Discord, an artist, had created sort of a suit to overlay on top of a friend of theirs, Bored Ape. And this trend started to spread where more Bored Apes wanted to like use the same overlay, and then it spread to punks and cool cats and lazy lions and so on and so forth, until there were over a dozen different projects that had their own custom suit. This was like an awesome way of sort of celebrating this moment in the evolution of NFTs. The next category is multi-style. If you haven't seen like a kind of multi-NFT avatar before, it's some of the biggest flexes that you could possibly imagine. On the left here is Bonafide Han. He has a autoglyph, 2 art blocks Fidenzas, and a cool cat TV head. On the right you have kind of a similar combination from Rasterize. These are almost by definition some of the most valuable sort of total valuation NFT avatars you will see, and it's a really interesting way of showing off different parts of your collection, and just kind of like a shock and awe sort of thing. It's really, really impressive, and I think we'll continue to see more of this sort of layering. Another style, I just kind of broad category, I call it group style. So this is a project called 888 Inner Circle, and this is the first drop from that project. And so the people who support the project, who are connected to it, are layering on this border onto their profile picture. And what's really interesting is this border is not mutually exclusive with other NFTs. You could show that you support 888 without, say, taking away your Bored Ape or whatever your avatar NFT may be. Let's see. Trait style is like another kind of vertical here. So we have two people on NFT Twitter here. We have Deez on the left, so we have Beanie on the right. And so Deez's kind of trait style is, you have the hoodie, you have the 3 glasses, and you have the pipe. And Beanie, of course, is known for his anonymous beanie hat, and also that sort of neon green color. And I think it's interesting to think about, like, what are the trade-offs? About a fifth of you guys said that you've rotated your avatars in the past month or so. One of the trade-offs in doing so is, you maybe want to be relevant. You want to sort of support the latest project that you're excited about, but yet in rotating, you're sort of, some might say you're diluting your personal brand in that, like, you're not as immediately recognizable. Trait style is sort of a way of trying to get the best of both worlds. And for some people, they've developed such an attachment to certain attributes that in every new collection they're looking for it, which then drives the creators of NFT collections to try and match existing styles so that the whales and the biggest enthusiasts can get the kind of look that they're seeking. And market style. This is the last category that I'll be bringing up. So this is a tweet from July, the last bear market, and the mainstream media was really excited to declare the death once again of NFTs in the NFT market, and so this McDonald's meme started spreading around crypto Twitter. On the right here is Punk 4156, one of the most famous collectors, and he had put on he had painted his blue do-rag red with the McDonald's logo, sort of as a satire of this whole thing, And what was fascinating is that, what happened next was that someone then tokenized that image, sold it for 6.9 Ethereum. This sort of blew everyone's minds, but led to an entire collection called Fast Food Punks, which, as of October 18th had a floor of 1 Ethereum for 1,000 supply. And then that inspired a set of derivatives, for example, fast food squiggles. And so you kind of see this like really interesting evolution where, sort of physical events or digital events can drive memes, which can drive overlays and different kinds of accessorization, which can drive then new NFT collections and create brand new markets. So I think this is a really cool trend and something to kind of keep in mind. When you're seeing people who are doing something interesting in this way, like you might be at the very beginning of what might be a new cycle, and so that could be a great thing to buy into. So things kind of like, I say like style headwinds, right? Like, what are things that are limiting our ability to kind of express ourselves however we like? So I put the Photoshop logo bold here. Right now, in order to do these sort of compositions, you have to pay for a license for Photoshop. There aren't really many good online tools for doing this. Furthermore, maybe you want to update your profile picture across Twitter, Discord, Clubhouse, and that's kind of tedious. I'm curious, by show of hands, who here uses different profile pictures for different social media? Okay, so about a third do. So I kind of by default, most people try and use the same, and if you want to keep it in sync, this is a bit difficult. The other thing is the other headwind is Twitter verification is kind of coming down the pipeline. So the way that Twitter verification works is they're going to be pulling from OpenSea directly. And that means that you don't really have the opportunity to customize your NFTs. So will this be the death of style? We'll see. I think there is a solution though. And I'd like to talk about futures. This is my last slide. So on the left here is the most valuable watch ever sold. Hey, just shout out, any guesses on how much this cost? 500,000. 6 million. 50 million, okay. So this sold almost 2 years ago to the day for $31 million at a Hong Kong auction. Mind-boggling. And it just goes to show sort of the seriousness with which we could take accessorization. And on the right here, I have, this is a project that I'm exploring, and you can connect with me on Twitter at Andrew Schreiber to learn more. But it's trying to take sort of the same theme that we've seen from millions of app downloads, where people are using borders to create a little more pop in their profile picture. Could we do something like that, sort of an NFT jewelry, if you will? And so I think this type of NFT, which we saw before in 888 Inner Rings, is really interesting because it has the potential to be compatible with other NFTs, and it's just getting started.